enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom. In your face. In your face. In your face. In your face, it's Friday. In your face, Friday.
Filling in for Carricker. He'll be back Monday. I'll be around. Lots to talk about here over the next 2 hours. An exceptional show. I'm looking forward to it, having fun. I appreciate Austin Norman sitting in, manning the board, and making sure that the mothership is on time and in place. Greatly appreciate it. You can be a part of what we're doing. The Sartor Heyman text line, 402-464-5685 is the number you want to be a part of what we're doing. Hit us up. Fist bump. What's up? Speak to me. Talk to me. Talk to us. Don't yell at us. That part. You can follow on all of the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, LO Channel 961. Please, if you have not, download the Ticket app so that you can take us wherever you go and we can be wherever you're at. If you're fancy, jump over and subscribe and follow on Amazon Prime so you can, it's another option for you. Apple as well. We make it easy for you to consume what we're feeding you. In today's show, we will feed you. Yes, indeed, we will. Lots to talk about over the course of the next 2 hours. Hour 2, we will be joined by the one and only, the legend, Coach Ron Brown. And we're looking forward to having some live conversations with him. Maybe ask his opinion on some things about the way the world is working, because Ron Brown has a way of cutting through a lot of the nonsense, and that's why I enjoy having those conversations with him. If you're on the video stream, you will notice that today I'm not donning the traditional Husker scarlet and cream, red, black, white, and combinations that I normally do. Today, I get to honor and represent my alma mater, my program, the Fighting Generals of Arlington, Virginia, the Fighting Generals of Washington Liberty. It was Washington Lee when I graduated, the Generals. But a shout out to that program. Some legendary folks have been a part of that program. We can take it all the way back, go in the Wayback Machine, but currently under the leadership and guidance of Coach Neely. And I want to thank Coach for hooking his boy up with some General swag. The blue and gray Generals till we die. And it's an honor to be able to don the colors. We got a jersey in my office, and greatly appreciate Coach Healy for his leadership. Gives me a chance to shout out the legendary Del Norwood, my high school coach and one of my great mentors. Of course, the dad of Buffalo Bills kicker Scott Norwood, but a Hall of Famer when it comes to high school coaches in this country. Pitched for the Senators and Red Sox, and he was a great man and a great leader. And it's important to say, shout out to Doug Grove, who took care of and boundaried and led that Generals program for a long time. And it's good to see, because Doug Grove was a teammate of mine under Del Norwood. And then he took over the program in Atlanta and had a Hall of Fame career as a coach at WNL, and then handed it over to Coach Healy. So, Coach, all coaches, all to you Generals. The General thing goes way back, and there's some guys that participated. If you did a ledger of alumni who played in that program, there's a Hall of Fame actor who played in the WNL baseball program, Warren Beatty. His sister Shirley Beatty, also known as Shirley MacLaine, was a cheerleader and a leader in that program. Of course, Sandra Bullock graduated, was there, took driving lessons under the great Del Norwood. We did some things. Brian Platos starting left guard for the Cincinnati Bengals, played next to Anthony Munoz in front of him, protecting Boomer Esiason in that Super Bowl run. Robert Oxendine, who was a legend. Of course, our own Barry Thompson, who joins us from time to time here on the Ticket to Talk Ball. Great stuff. And so I'm proud to flash the colors for the sake of good old WNL. To all of my folks back home, bravo. Well done. Austin Orman, lots to talk about. Today, we're going to spend some time down at Haymarket Park. And it is the first of the season, BP with DP. And we have a huge collection of folks coming down to take their hacks today. And we shout out Charlie Murray is the best, and he's really good about making this thing. Coach Elliott, they're giving away T-shirts tonight, and it's fireworks night. It's
the
also
real fireworks start at 3:00.
Well, yeah, bombs in air. Intern Rudy has forewarned us that there shall be daytime bombs starting at 3:00. Of course, he hits for Nebraska Wesleyan, so he's ready to show off. I have been once again forewarned to not take swings today due to all the metal and screws and pins in various body parts, including the bicep. I was just reminded. I got a text, hey, bro, chill today. We don't need that phone call. And Becky's out of town, so if I get out there and get a mood and a pin or a plate pops, whoop, I don't have my support group. I can't do that. Austin, you went through this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first of all, what went in your head before you went down? So when you signed up to take BP, you go back to your younger self. You think of yourself as your younger self, right?
Generally.
Right.
Mhm.
So as you walked up to home plate, how are you feeling?
I lost a little bit of that sense of, yeah, I know who I am as a hitter and what I'm going to do in the box for a couple reasons. Number one, I mean, you're there with pros, right? It's independent league baseball. So I know walking up that I'm not going to put on a laser show, not like these guys, right? So I kind of depressed the expectations for myself in my head, which was smart, which was very smart. I didn't play with a wood bat very much at all.
Mhm.
Metal bat guys are just getting the feel of the wood, where the sweet spot is. The timing was completely different, like around a BP I had taken before. The only advice I think I wish I would have taken was I thought about sticking in my batting gloves before I did it the first time. Not only is it hot outside, you understand that there are people watching you and on air talking about how you're doing, and you nominally claim to have played baseball in high school. So I wish I would have stuck in batting gloves the first time I did it. I think Uncle Kev's bringing his work gloves to wear just for something to help him today. We'll have to see.
No, Austin, we can't allow work gloves.
It's that or the bat slips out of his hand.
Oh no. Text line, what are your thoughts? Do we allow Kevin Meyer Corkenball? Do we allow, because if he comes out there with like gardening gloves,
I think there is a stock gloves from the store.
it's either batting gloves or not. Honor the thing. Either look, Charlie Hustle would never wear work gloves. Pete Rose would never do it.
Well, then we need pine tar. That's what we're gonna need. We need some. Come on, hit us up.
I'm sure there's some in the building. I'm sure there'll be some in the building. If he comes out with any other gloves other than some batting gloves, it's gonna be like literally. I'm gonna pull the stadium PA and we will line it up. I know Steve Taylor's coming down. Hall of Famer black shirt Terrell Farley said he's coming down after his show. Pete Ferguson said he was going to come down and get some hacks in. Strick, of course. And here's the thing, because Strick and Steve Taylor look like baseball players still. Like they all the mannerisms, all the things happen, and they happen in order, and it doesn't look unnatural to them. Other folks have gone down and took their hacks. Nick was a 6'3", a consistent 6'3", 5'3" BP. Like we had, he gave the Salt Dogs third baseman to shortstop plenty of work,
plenty of warm up,
plenty of work, right?
Yep.
It's, if you hope to get up there, Steve Taylor's and Strick gave the little F9, a little L9 work along the way, and it's always interesting. So we have folks coming down. We will do it again July 18th. So if you want to be a part of it, you can also put that in the text line as well. And we will sort through all the people that come through. Austin, how did you feel after you took BP?
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
All of the above.
Physically, fine. There was a little bit of soreness the next day, just in that kind of oblique area. Knob of the bat got up on the bottom of my hand a little bit. Honestly, in terms of the expectations, I thought I met them the couple times I did it. I didn't expect a whole lot out of myself because it had been years since I had swung competitively. And it's one of those things that there was enough in the tank, there was enough in the old muscle memory that while I wasn't spraying stuff all over the place, I had some nice swings. I hit a few nice solid line drives that would have been base hits in a game. So, was it the stuff of legend? No. Could I walk back to the booth and get on air satisfied? Yeah.
It's a thing, right? And we have in full admission that there are those members of the ticket staff who have yet to step into that batter's box, and I'm going to call out the early break boys because for people who talk a lot, they sure don't do much. Like Sipple, Jake, Coach Bush, get in the batter's box.
It's there for you.
Listen, I think this should be a party. July 18th has the opportunity to be a party that we can say we invite all the breakers to Haymarket Park, 3:00, July 18th, to cheer on and support Jake Sorensen, Steve Sipple, Coach Bill Bush, taking BP with the Salt Dogs. I think that would be.
I'm here for it.
I think that would be it, right? I also want to see Adam Carricker in the batter's box because I think it would be Aaron Judge-ish. He played in high school.
I know.
And he is a freak. Like let's be clear.
It's true.
There's not many people walking around with the physical tools of an Adam Carricker. So I at some point I do want to see that. AD, I'd be afraid that his back would just.
I think golf's the right pace for him.
Yeah,
let's phrase it that way.
We saw Raff. Raff went down last year and took strokes. Bach went down and took strokes. Raked a little bit. Farley will get to see for the first time. Rashawn, we haven't seen.
Well, that's also dangerous right now.
I don't think we took. Yeah, no, that Achilles. No, that is not. Bill Murray did a whole bit about if you clip the Achilles, what it does to your swing.
Yeah.
All you got to do is clip him right there. So we don't want that. And then Harrison Arns, we need to get him down there as well. So we have some folks that we need to get in the space. But if you're interested, again, a Friday in July, 3:00. But we'll be down today. So if you're free this afternoon and you want to come hang out, there's also a blood drive. If you're donating blood from 12 noon to 5, you get tickets for the game. We also have tickets to give away for tonight. We have some vouchers and we have tickets. I do have a trivia question. And anybody that can come up with the answer to this thing, I think it would be pretty simple. And it's a complex trivia question. Here's this. And Austin, I'm not sure that I teased you with this.
You did not. I'm unprepared.
But if we said Brown University football, okay, that this player holds the record for interceptions in a season with 14.
Woo.
14. And in those 14 returns, 350 punt return yards as well. Sits at number 3 all time. He's in their Hall of Fame. And he had 290 interception return yards, which is first in the Brown football record book. If you can tell me who that is, I'll give you 4 tickets to see the Salt Dogs. Austin, any guesses whatsoever?
Not off the top of my head. I gotta go in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, it took some depth, and I was a bit stunned by it. Austin, a couple of things to talk about here.
Mm-hmm.
With the draft being final, and it was not Steve Jordan. Good guess though. He is a Brown University alum and Hall of Famer. As a matter of fact, the great Steve Jordan played tight end. Was a mentor of sorts to our own Jay Foreman. Before when he became a tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. But Austin, okay. If you have a year of eligibility left in college basketball, right? And let's say you're Power 4. Let's say you're borderline All-American. You may be all-conference, maybe second team all-conference, somewhere in that line. That your value to the game of basketball now has changed, because it's not just your value to Power 4 basketball. It's your value in the NIL game, in the transfer portal. It's your value towards the playing professional basketball. And G League is of value. You make money. You're a pro, and you're a step away from being in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do we really start to set up a graphic for how to measure whether somebody should stay in college and make NIL money, good NIL money, rather than take the risk of going pro and not being drafted and missing out?
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple pretty pretty good examples just from this draft, right? I think of a guy like Hunter Salas, right? Borderline, all conference type of guy who really burst on the draft scene last year. He had two paths before him. Number one, come back to college, improve on what he did, show that he can, add to his game, shore up his weaknesses, and get picked even higher. The downside of that is he didn't strike while the iron was hot. He's an undrafted free agent because he showed he was the same player this year as he was last year, at least to the naked eye. That's a guy that certainly made some money to go back to Winston-Salem. Might have been better served in terms of his NBA draft prospects by being a second rounder last year, as opposed to an undrafted guy this year. But then, you think of like a Nick Clifford, maybe from Colorado State, who did nothing but play his way up. Fringy type of prospect, maybe getting drafted. Really what I think the conversation comes down to for these guys and girls for the WNBA draft is, where's that tipping point, that money line, and what are the skills they're asking me to work on? Because if you're a fringe second rounder, you should go back to school pretty much every time. But if you're a fringe first rounder, that's where the conversation gets interesting. And that's where you have to be able to trust your circle and trust the intel that you're getting from these NBA teams that you're talking to. And on the college side too, trust that the money's going to be good, the role's going to be good, the opportunity is going to be good, and that you will get the opportunity that they say you're going to put your skills on display to help your team win.
If in the case of Hunter Salas, Chucky Hepburn, Bryce Williams, and Bryce didn't have the extra year of eligibility, but there are those that did. That if we have an understanding of what the two-way deals allow and what the G League minimum is, or the standard or the average for the G League, then there's a matter of betting on yourself. But to me, betting on yourself is using intelligence to do so. Mm-hmm. Betting on yourself and throwing away your own greatest asset, which is a year of eligibility and resume at the college level.
Well, both directions are betting on yourself. I'm betting on myself that I can make it in the NBA, or this year, or I'm betting on myself that I can be even better in college and do better next year. They're both betting on yourself.
If you're being offered $2 million in NIL for another year of eligibility, is that the wise investment, or is it your uncle or some agent telling you that, hey, you're a lock for a first round pick? There are no locks.
No, but if you probably read the mock drafts, right? You probably have an idea.
I don't.
Of who,
I don't.
I'm not saying.
I'm
saying as a prospect.
Yeah.
As a prospect, right? You've probably read one or two. You've had conversations with probably multiple teams. So then the conversation isn't just $2 million or nothing. It's, am I good with this $2 million in college? And then what's next for me in the NBA? Do I think that I'll be able to play my way into that? Or if it's $2 million in college, and can I play my way into a double-digit million contract by being a first rounder next year? Or is it, I'll take the $4 million, get started in my professional career now and be 1 year closer to that second contract that I hope I can get?
All of it is too complex for most 18 to 21-year-olds without the resource to have people do checks and balances for you.
Mm-hmm.
Club yes exists.
Mm-hmm.
The people around
Mm-hmm.
you who see big numbers, big dollar signs, if you get to go and I get to piggyback,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But those people aren't always the great truth tellers, because they are moved to speak on their behalf, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
They're moved for the advantage it provides them. Often, a college coach should be the person that is listened to the most, except the college coach now works from a great agenda too,
Mm-hmm.
which is, if I can convince this player at whatever cost, because it's not money out of the coach's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The coach is not paying. The coach is not going to write the $2 million check.
Coach is not allowed to write the
There's
$2
some
million
collective.
check.
There's some collective. There's some guy, some group of people who have put together this money for this young man. That being said, the coach has great inspiration to move that player to stay in the college game.
Mm-hmm.
And while it is at some level selfish, it is also quite often the right thing to do. Because there are only, as people forget, even with all these mocks, we forget, there's 48 picks. And the higher that number gets in number, the lower the return. And the lower responsibility. Because if you're draft pick number 46, the Charlotte Hornets are not as inclined to keep you around and pay you more money than if you were draft pick number 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. There's a difference. And the slots exist for a reason. Once again, we find out that the adults need to boundary themselves from themselves because they will outbid one another. They will throw the value system off for one player. They don't particularly care. The Charlotte Hornets don't particularly care how much the Atlanta Hawks have to pay the pick behind them. They don't care. They know that if I throw this number out, if I say it's $2 million, Atlanta's got to pay the next guy close to $2 million simply because we chose to do that. And I think there are too many people around the athletes telling them what they want to hear instead of what they need to know. And there's a difference. There's a monumental difference between what players need to hear about their situation and circumstance. Mm-hmm. And I think it is a missed opportunity for programs to have somebody in place, or somebody's plural in place, to advise openly, independently, and honestly with their student athletes. It should be somebody that's there. And it could be a former player. It could be a former coach. It could be somebody that can say, okay, I know your dream is to be in the NBA. I know that you think you're better than everybody else. And I know that that is the only way for you to achieve. Mm-hmm. You have to believe everybody who was eligible for the draft at some point measured themselves to Cooper Flat. When in truth, they probably should have measured themselves with pick number 48. And to not understand what we miss in this whole thing, Austin, is that we think everybody knows Yang Hansen. We think that everybody knows the African Olympians. We think everybody knows the Australian Perth nationalists. We think everybody knows the Serbian professional development players. We only think, is Bryce Williams one of the best 48 players in college basketball who applied for the draft? That's not the measuring stick.
Not the conversation.
That's not what we should be talking about. It is, you need to measure what you do and who wants it. More importantly, who needs it. And if the University of Tennessee is telling you that they need you and can guarantee $2 million, you might want to take it. You might want to take it and put up more resume, because guess what? It's still resume. Mm-hmm. You get the same film at the University of Tennessee, University of Georgia, University of Nebraska as you do in those 24 games in the G League that nobody watches.
Right. You get more, in fact, in college.
SEC, Big Ten, you're on ESPN all the time, ABC all the time. You can't, I guarantee you as a listener, you can't tell me the last time you watched a G League game.
Never happened.
Right? You can't do it. So understand what we're talking about, that every year we get a reminder that the game is changing, the business behind the game is changing, and then more importantly for us, how we talk about this stuff is very, very important. We'll go to break and come back. I will ask you this because I'm thinking if we took the Nebraska connected players who were eligible for the NBA draft, would they have won a national title last year? And would they have beaten the Duke starting five? Austin Orman, I put you on the spot. when we come back to one-on-one.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We are going to be dealing with the heat here over the next several days. Looks like we'll see plenty of sunshine for our Friday, all the way up to 94 for a high temperature with a light southeast wind. Tonight, only dropping down to 71 for a low. Sunny and 96 tomorrow before a chance of thunderstorms on Sunday and a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Are you buying a home? Westgate Bank understands that you need to make important decisions during your home buying journey. Our local lenders in Lincoln and Omaha make themselves available so you can get the information you need to know. Use our mobile mortgage app to manage your transaction from pre-qualification to closing, no matter where you are. Get the service and convenience you want from a local community bank where our interest is you. Learn more and visit us online at westgate.bank. Westgate Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca. Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to One-on-One. I hope, it is my hope, that if you're answering the trivia question, you actually want the tickets.
If you compete in our contest and don't want the prizes, please stop competing.
Well, you know, you can just shout out that I know the answer, but not for tickets, or not to win the prize, because there are other people that would actually like the ticket. So now, if you guess and you want the tickets, that's fine too. But the trivia question was this: this player co-holds the Brown record for interceptions in a season with 14. 14. I can also tell you that even with the 14 interceptions, he played quarterback He also played quarterback. This is some Sammy Ball. You know who was a great two-way player that we don't talk about? Oh, my goodness. This lights a fire. This is when old school DP shows up.
Here we go. All right.
Okay.
Here we
so
go.
at Duke University, your Duke University, right? Your Duke University, that they had a safety who led the Atlantic Coast Conference in interceptions. Austin Orman, he also led the ACC in passing.
How about that?
His name was Christian Adolph Sonny Jurgensen.
How about that? How about that?
The paunchy gunslinger was an all-conference safety.
Paunchy is not a word we use to describe enough athletes.
Oh, man. There needs to be a paunchy Hall of Fame.
There needs to be.
There needs to
Truly.
be a paunchy, especially at the quarterback position, right? Because that is some baller move, right? Who would you put in the Husker Paunch Hall of Fame? Is there somebody, anybody? Like John Kruk would be a really good one.
He's there.
Like, think of right?
I'm trying to think.
The paunch, the sports paunch Hall of Fame.
I think like Ben Miller from baseball, probably.
Lorenzen, the quarterback from Kentucky.
Oh, Jared Lorenzen, yeah. The hefty lefty. Yeah.
The hefty lefty.
The hefty lefty.
But Barkley with being the round mound of rebound, that would qualify.
Yeah.
Oliver Miller.
Yeah, clearly. Late career Raymond Felton.
Yes. Yeah.
Although maybe that crossed the line.
He earned that. Yeah, he earned that. There's a guy who I was a tremendous fan of. He was a freshman All-American at LSU and left college early, got drafted first round by the then Washington Bullets. And coming into the league, he was John Hot Rod Williams, 6'9", was the first of the legitimate point forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Skilled big men who brought the ball down and facilitated the offense from at 6'9".
Mm-hmm.
But he ate himself into a new moniker, John Hot Plate Williams.
Hot plate works, but like a dad bod instead of hot rod. I don't
Plate
know.
Williams, bruh, it was tough. It was tough because he was special. And then and there are guys who just eat themselves out of the
Eddie Lacy.
Like, yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was conversation, Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
But Eddie Lacy is probably renowned for Jamarcus Lawrence.
Russell.
Right? Sorry, Jamarcus. Sorry, JL. Appreciate you, bro. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Nothing personal.
Welcome back to Lincoln. No, that wasn't you. Jamarcus Russell, who again,
Luka.
Well, they say, but new Luka is coming.
They say that every offseason.
Well,
we also got the Ben Simmons highlight tape, so
yeah,
I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I don't. Is Jokic he's in the Paunch Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah,
right. He's in the right.
Mm-hmm.
Like he belongs.
Late career Shaq.
Yes, he will tell you.
Bartolo.
He will tell you that he lost a step. The point guard. Oh, there were a couple of point guards that out ate their coverage. There's some talk in DC. Folks saw the Commanders' early camp and said that Debo is but he's still fast. He's still the fastest commando. He's just a little chubby. He's just a little more
padded.
He's just a little. Listen, but he's still the fastest, quickest player on the field. So,
all right.
Austin Orman, there were 5. The entire starting 5 for the Duke Blue Devils, who didn't win the title, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
all drafted day 1 and 2.
Mhm.
All there.
Mhm.
For comparison's sake, and maybe it's not fair, but if you took the Nebraska connected talent, so Kalkbrenner, Bryce, Hunter, Chucky,
St. Thomas,
right? If we put them together, how many points, what would the point spread be? Nebraska versus Duke starting 5.
Duke by 13.5.
13.5. Oh, Austin. Send those cards and letter, care of Austin Orman. Austin Orman. That's OERMAN.
1040 O Street, Cubicle 3.
48th Street. Send it to 48th Street. He said 13.5. Now, those Nebraska connected players are ballers.
Correct.
Talented.
Correct. I agree.
But as we have this NBA draft discussion, NIL discussion, college basketball talent discussion, it is a lot. It is a lot. Somebody pointed out that you could take 5 French players drafted and that they would win the national title, which is insulting.
It's just not true.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the point of reference that we watched Rutgers, Illinois have multiple players drafted
in the first round.
Why? Did we not watch them play? Did we not watch them lose in big moments to lesser talented players and teams?
Lesser talented players, maybe, but not lesser talented teams. I mean, I saw both those teams up close and personal.
Yeah,
I mean,
Rutgers,
Dylan and Ace are legitimate, like basketball players. Steve Peichel did nothing with the rest of that roster.
But how is that possible?
I don't know. That's why we're all still baffled.
Why would you allow that to happen? Why would you allow? Now, I understand that sometimes the time, place, and location matter, right? Because you could say that if you go back and think of Nebraska's roster over the course of the last 6 years, that there were times when there was multiple professional, air quotes, talented level players and still couldn't get over the hump.
Right.
But also on the same token, it would point out to me that it tells me that if Fred's competing with those players against 2 lottery picks and still having success, there's something to be said for what's happening at Nebraska, whether you believe in it fully or not. But it also means that even if, because the discussion is that if Nebraska recruited Omaha at a higher success rate, that its program would have more success. And yes, if you got that class of Salas, Chucky, St. Thomas, there's a few, Fiddler, right? Because Fiddler's now balling at that level. If you got those players under one umbrella and kept them, how good would that program be?
I'd say tournament team. I won't push back against that.
Okay.
And maybe 13.5 was a little disrespectful. I'll bump it down to like 8.5.
Well, no, here's the thing that the question would be if you took, because a lot of the discussion might be that there's just not enough talent or just not enough eyes on how much talent you have and the ability to develop, because Hunter had to go to a couple of places. Chucky had to go to a couple of places. Like we know that folks, St. Thomas, that you have to move around to find your niche and find your groove. And that the one place I would love to hope that at some point, Nebraska becomes the place where those players show up and stay so that we could see, because from a pride standpoint, wouldn't we want to know what Nebraska fed players would look like on the collegiate tournament level?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be intriguing in the least to know, You can look at the Nebraska basketball class of 2026 and then try to imagine what that would look like if you kept the talent at home, because with NIL, there's a way to keep them at home. You're getting them to invest in Nebraska in them. So if I said to a player, and I was asked this last night, if I said to a player that as a high school senior, you can stay at Nebraska, play with your friends, the people you play AAU ball with, right? Because they all play against each other and with each other. That if you can keep a core group of 3 players every year and it costs you $1 million, how good would Nebraska be, or could Nebraska be?
And that's just tough too, because I mean, each class is different, and I don't want to begrudge Fred Hoiberg having his system, his style. It seems like all the guys that got drafted wouldn't hurt Nebraska, by any means. You name any of the 5 of them, right? We forgot John Tonje, right? The one that actually got drafted among that group.
Again, getting no respect from Omaha,
right?
Like I saw a bunch of Omaha stand-up posts, and Tonje was somehow outcast into that. But here's the other point, Austin. It strikes me that Creighton would be more likely to do this.
I agree.
Right?
Well, they already have.
And wouldn't that be frightening?
It'd be disappointing.
Right? That if Creighton really captured and held Omaha basketball talent in Omaha.
I mean, they already do, unfortunately.
Which is why I don't understand why people aren't mad. Like I would fight for, and the same thing applies to other sports, right? You could say that about baseball. You could say it about volleyball. You could say about football. In that if Nebraska was doing a better job of holding state talent in, whatever better would be defined at, and at what cost, because we don't know what that would be. But I just, in the back of my head, Austin Norman, I kind of want to know what the target is. Like, what would ideal look like to you
for
basketball at Nebraska?
Targeting what? NIL players?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
High school players. Let's start with high school players, because they always have the ability to reshoot their shot. Here's why I say that. That how Nebraska recruits Omaha while they're in high school lands when the transfer portal becomes an issue. If they go somewhere else, how Nebraska recruited them at some point will tell you whether they're back in consideration. So,
right. Which Nebraska was in some consideration for some of these guys, but completely out of consideration for others based on that very fact. So in this day and age of recruiting, I mean, it's hard to say Nebraska needs to lock up all those guys. You'd like to see them be more competitive with them. But we know some guys want to stay. Some guys want to leave. If you can get the best one that wants to stay and stay in conversations for the best 1 or 2 that want to leave, if they want to enter the transfer portal, this day and age of recruiting, I mean, I think that's a better place to start for Nebraska than you have to lock up the top 3 automatically. Because that just hasn't happened.
Okay.
Since Strick was here. That hasn't happened since then.
Yeah. Like that part, that it is still to me, 2 of the greatest upsets in all of sports are Nebraska-based lack of accomplishment. Like no tournament wins, and having won like the whole winning the Big 8 conference thing mattered so much. The power of what winning the Big 10 tournament did for Nebraska baseball and what it would do for Nebraska basketball. I dare to dream. I dare to dream. We'll throw it a break. We'll close out this hour and then set you up. The coach, Ron Brown, will join us at 12 noon here on One-on-One.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still, though, have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln. Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin Orman, have you ever, kind sir, painted your face, ran around a wrestling ring, shook the ropes, raised the roof?
I used eye black a couple times in baseball, and I've raised the roof very mildly on occasion.
You strike me as a very mild raise the roofer, sir. Yeah, we need to work on your raising the roof explosivity.
Okay, noted. I will hit the weight room. More shoulder presses, more squats. I can handle that.
You are a kind raise the roofer, sir. You are a considerate.
Understated raising the roofer. Renovations are expensive. I don't have much roof to raise.
How many times watching the Duke Blue Devils have you smacked the floor?
At least a handful.
right? You've
least.
done that in game,
Oh,
like
yeah.
literally
Oh, yeah.
in game.
Mhm.
You know,
I've
from
done the
your
Wojo.
living room.
I've done the Hurley.
From
Oh,
your
yeah. Yeah, I've done it.
From your living
I've
room.
done it. Uh-huh.
Let me ask. I was asked this question. As a matter of fact, I was asked this question this week, and I really didn't have an answer for it because I didn't know. So, Austin Orman, have you ever, in the midst of a Husker football game, basketball game, sporting event, etc., when a moment hit that was so pertinent that Husker fans in the arena yelled, "Go Big Red"? Have you ever joined them from home? Have you ever go Big Red from home?
I have not.
You have not.
I have not.
What should be the rule and standard and guideline for that? Is that asking too much? Is that doing too much? Where do you land on that?
I also said this way. I probably would have done that more when I was younger, but I've mellowed out quite a bit. I think younger Austin thought he could actually influence the outcome of games, and now
never grow old, Austin.
Well, slightly more mature Austin kind of realizes how out of his control it is. Now that doesn't stop me from maintaining superstition on the couch, making sure I refill my snack bowl, making sure I'm sitting in the same position, standing, pacing, whatever it is,
so
right?
funny.
I can do that.
That is hilarious, bro. That you have talked yourself out of your full enjoyment of a Husker sporting event.
Well, this is any sporting event. I mean, this is if obviously I'm in media row for a lot of Husker stuff, so that's a different level of decorum. There's a lot of that going on with Duke games, all that with Royals games. Who only knows? I mean, the Colts are beyond God's reach at this point, so I've given up on attempting to help that franchise.
The fact that you have waved the flag, the white flag, on helping the Royals from home is
no. I'm more apt to try to help the Royals from home, but
Okay.
it's just in my own kind of spot on the couch, snack, seating position, superstitious way.
So
I'm not
have
clapping.
your
I'm not.
What are your game day at home? The things that you were so strict about that you refuse to budge. So same chair.
Well, I got my spot on the couch.
Okay.
I need enough of the footrest. And the problem comes when my wife falls asleep during the game. Occasionally we're watching it and things start going poorly and I need to move. You know, because I'm kind of her pillow. I'm her headrest. And I got to move. I got to change the vibe. But she's comfortable. And I can't stay there, let my team lose, and then have that on my conscience that somewhere in the deep cranny of my brain, I'm going to say,
you're going to blame
Hun,
her.
this is your
You're
fault.
gonna blame
But
her.
it's not
You're
her
gonna
fault, and I
blame
know
her.
that, and I can't do that because I'm trying to be a good husband.
You're
a
going to
good role
blame
model.
her. You're absolutely going to blame her for the loss.
So that's when I stand up, I change position, I say, sorry, hun, I couldn't put that on you. I have to blame me if they lose. That's why I had to move.
Oh, that is so tough. That is
so.
Austin, I can hear, there's good Austin and evil Austin, and evil Austin's like, you gotta move. You gotta
I gotta move to switch up the vibe. Hun, I'm sorry, but this is better in the long run. I promise you, right? You don't want me blaming you for this catastrophic shortcoming of a loss, and I don't want to put that on you either because it ain't that deep to you. It is to me, so I want to be able to wear this and not associate you with it.
I broke up with a cheerleader because I took her to a game and the Redskins lost. They had been on a win streak, and I took a new girl to a football game and they lost. Dude,
we're done. No,
I broke up with her in the car. In the car.
Props.
This is all your fault.
First impressions are everything.
We're never doing this again. Ever. I think I forgave her in 2021. I think I forgave her finally in 2021.
Were you in the fan transfer portal in 2021?
Yes. That's why I forgave her.
Okay.
That's literally why I forgave her.
Makes sense.
I told you I am a grown man, baby.
I get it. I get
fully
it.
admit it. I fully admit I've made some just really, really tough decisions along the way.
But I would tell you that was probably a correct decision.
Oh,
I think it probably worked out.
I said it with my chest.
Which, by the way, belated happy anniversary to you.
Thank you, kind sir. Oh, we'll go to break. We come back. We'll have the legend Ron Brown join us here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options. Options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch, families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here, beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom. Hour 2 in what Eddie Murphy say in Coming to America. In the face. In the face. And that is how we're going to get down in hour 2 here on One-on-One. Appreciate you hanging out with us. You can be a part of what we're doing. Again, the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Hit us with a what's up, and we'll make you a part of the show. Simple deal. You know how the process works. You can follow on all of the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. You can and should download the Ticket app so we can go where you go. We'll be where you're at. Do that, or if you're fancy, Amazon Prime. Do it. Austin Orman, before we introduce our guest, I hope folks are on the stream because you are looking right spry, looking right representative right now, kind sir.
I do what I can. I was hooked up at the camera on our guest. Let me pan it back over this way a little bit. We're getting there. Come on.
The stars and stripes of the Lincoln Salt Dogs.
Heck yeah, baby. Here we go.
Okay. And we don't do enough dogs talk. Here's the part that Lincoln has dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a team with dogs in it, that has to be now. It's the logo, right? It's the logo, and the mascot's Homer. But the Stars and Stripes Salt Dogs jersey is underrated.
Unparalleled,
right? It is underrated.
I agree.
It's a good look. It's a deal. So this afternoon, 3:00, we're gonna go down and take some batting practice with the Salt Dogs with the team. They'll be out there. Again, I'm saying and committing publicly that this body of mine will not participate in batting practice as promised and committed to my surgeon, my rehab manager, and my wife, that no one wants these metal strips and pins and screws to be activated. So I will only cheer you on. Steve Taylor's going to take batting practice. Terrell Farley, Peter Ferguson. We're going to have a full collection of fans and family down there taking swings today. Stop by if you want. They've got a blood drive from 12 noon to 5 o'clock. If you give blood between 12 and 5, you get tickets. We asked a trivia question. I will re-ask that question because it is pertinent and relevant. That I asked this question. I gave this stat that this player co-holds the record, the Brown University football record for interceptions in a season with 14 interceptions in a season. And at the same time, this player played quarterback and halfback for Brown University. And we often disrespect legendary coaches because we talk about them as the senior elder version of themselves. When the reality is, a lot of these coaches were dudes. They were dudes before they were coaches. I introduce from Brown University football and Nebraska football and one of the legendary human beings, Coach Ron Brown. Coach, thank you for making time today. How are you?
I'm honored to be on. Thank you very much. And I was going to say about our man here, the way he's dressed, the Salt Dog, did that look.
That's a good look.
It's very Independence Day as well.
That's a good look, right?
Yeah.
I asked somebody this, and I said, because Nebraska has all alternate jerseys, and I would love for there to be a Stars and Stripes version. But that's just me. I'm going to go into business at some point, making the replicate mesh Husker tearaway jerseys. Like, I'm just going to say, okay, Nebraska, tell me how much I have to give you in licensing. But the mesh tearaways, it would start with the Jerry Taggy 14 half torn, right? Like, the micros here, midriff, like the bear midriff. We need those
I got you.
back. And yeah, we're gonna do that. Coach, I asked that trivia question, and you smiled.
Yeah.
You smiled because I think you recognize who that player was.
I'm going to say Fritz Pollard.
You are reading my mind, but here's the thing. You're wrong because I'm going to show you a picture of said young man. Kind sir, do you recognize that fine young man wearing number 36 in a Brown uniform?
Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno.
It's Joe Paterno, yes.
Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno, that's correct.
That you, sir, kind sir, you stand in a Hall of Fame at Brown University with Joe Paterno. And I literally had this loaded because I wanted to talk to you about him, Fritz Pollard. And that when you talk about important people in sports and in football, that Fritz Pollard, and we're talking back 1916?
Yeah.
Right? 1916 was the first, you talk about pioneers, was the first African-American player to make the All-America team. Led that Brown team, Rose Bowl?
Rose Bowl game. Yeah, the first, I believe, wasn't that the first Rose? Was that the first Rose Bowl game, or was there?
1916.
Wow.
1916. So, and also the first African-American running back to be named to the Walter Camp All-American team. And he is also in that Hall of Fame. So I want to talk to you about the Ivy League, Brown University, and the value systems that are in play, because I think it's important that Brown has been specific in being inclusive and still boundary, right? That to do both and go, wait a minute, they took a chance to allow Fritz Pollard to play, and then to ride him, and to say to the Rose Bowl and the national awards and to the national bowls, this can't be a reason why we can't do this.
Yeah, that's I can't. I'm going to just speak very openly and honestly and say
that's all we ever want from you, Coach.
I'm not proud of everything about Brown University, but I am honored with that. And I had the distinct privilege of also coaching at my alma mater, Brown University, a few years after I played there. And while I was there, I had another privilege of establishing what we called the Fritz Pollard Award. And that goes to a special player on the team that exemplifies the ability to overcome enormous obstacles, which he did. I mean, and the fact that Brown University would be willing to take an African-American at that time where we could hardly find them at schools, let alone an Ivy League school of such distinction, that was saying something.
Coach, can I ask you what the Ivy League does right? What do they get right?
Initially, what they got right is that they were founded on some great principles, strong biblical commitment, and obviously great education and the capacity. Back then, the Ivy League schools were Division I schools playing the best teams in America and going to bowl games and doing those things. So they really had some things right regarding the student athlete. So yeah, and I also felt like when I was one of the reasons why I went to Brown academically was they had you didn't have to declare a major right off the bat. You had an opportunity to get the fullness of your education. You didn't have to spearhead into one area too quickly. You could also create your own major. That was unique. I think we were the only school in the country doing that at the time.
That's so good and so deep that, listen, that you could say, here's the area of interest. And at the highest level of education in this country, you had the freedom to pursue it in full. And that's lost sometimes, right? That's lost sometimes in it. I asked what they did right for a very specific reason, because in this day and age now, sometimes standards and boundary get lost. And sometimes the discussion becomes complicated because people are defending rather than being open to the idea. Right. So how do we get to having sports conversations, life conversations, personal relationship conversations, spiritual conversations, educational or academic conversations. How do we do that without being defensive?
Well, I think if you're a cheerleader, it's going to get offensive and defensive in your attitude. You're going to be offended by what somebody else said or what the call was or the direction of things, or you're going to be defensive. But when you're an umpire, you get to call balls and strikes. You get to call a good game. You're operating off of sound principles. For example, that home plate umpire in baseball, he knows, listen, I've got the commissioner's handbook as to how I define a ball or a strike. And when that ball comes whistling down the plate 100 miles an hour, I'm not looking to the crowd to see what I should call. Because that's a bad umpire who does that.
What they say the pitch was.
Right. So I've got to learn accuracy and authority in making the call. And I think when we get onto that kind of phase in life and whatever realm of life we're doing, I think that fairness is what needs to be the foundation. And from there, you have a right to say, I like this, I don't like this, but you got to have a foundation of truth, a foundation of correct judicial umpiring.
I think that's the discussion to have, because the difference between administrators, coaches, players, family, and that decisions are often made based on what the motivation, inspiration, or origin thought, like that original feeling.
Right.
For a coach, what you are moved by is different than what moved you as a player. Or is it?
Well, I'd like to think that it is. If let's say that I'm a coach,
Mhm.
and I'm the adult. I'm not going to listen. I don't want to put all the adult decisions in the hands of the kids. I'm an adult. I've been trained. I've gone through kidhood. I've graduated from kidhood. Hopefully, hopefully, yeah, with flying colors. Hopefully, you know what I mean. But no, I think, like I go back to Brown University. They did the adult thing, stopped being a cheerleader, said we're going to be an umpire, and we're going to honor Fritz Pollard, his abilities, his talents, his academic skills, regardless of the color of his skin, regardless that it was an unpopular decision to make in America at that time. See, that's being an umpire. You do the right thing, no matter if the crowd is booing or if the crowd is cheering.
It's often thinking we make an assumption that everybody's working from the same place, that everybody's working from umpire, everybody's working from self or selflessness. And that's not always the case. Brown University, when they reached out to you, what was their pitch to you? What was the value of you being a member of the Brown University family?
Well, I was recruited to play basketball and football coming out of high school. And Dartmouth and Harvard were recruiting me for basketball. I was very impressed with a man at Harvard who was playing at the time named James Brown.
JB,
commentator.
the legendary JB
was the captain of the Harvard basketball team then.
Yeah.
And I was, I was a senior in high school. I think he was a senior at Harvard. And so I was thinking, man, this guy's a pretty cool dude. But eventually I decided, I think I should go football. And I had committed to Rutgers to play football. But I changed my mind and decommitted and decided to go to an Ivy League school like Brown because of a guy named Dave Ritchie, who was coaching at the University of Cincinnati, came to Brown University as a defensive coordinator, knew me and a whole bunch of kids I grew up with when we were just middle schoolers. He kind of coached us, and I trusted that man. And he called me and said, "Hey, why don't you come with me?" And I said, "Man, I'm a poor black kid. My folks, my mom got a 6th grade education. My dad never finished high school. Man, this would be the first time that anyone in my family ever even thought about college." And I thought, why not an Ivy League school? Why not a place where I could really be stretched and challenged, and a degree could really maybe open doors for all kinds of things, even outside of football. And so that's, I think, what led me to that decision.
We are here with the legendary coach Ron Brown, one of the great athletes to ever walk through the doors at Brown University, and a part of a program that has long legacy and deep legacy, and legendary people in the space. And I really, when you texted this morning and said, let's have some conversations, that this is where this particular one wanted to go, was that not being put into place, but being selected, being chosen. Often talent requires that somebody else outside the talent selects that talent as the thing. People found you. How fortunate are you that your parents found you? This university of you had option and you put in work, but it requires the great cosign that somebody else sees the greatness in Ron Brown that maybe Ron Brown can't even see in himself. You end up at Ivy League. That we're saying this so casually that Dartmouth and Brown were two options. That makes you a unicorn. So the selection process, how blessed are you to have those people find you, identify you, and then nourish you?
I think the first finding was Arthur and Pearl Brown wanting a child and not knowing how to have one, not being able to have one biologically, and coming to a New York City orphanage where 98% of these Black and Hispanic babies never end up in a loving home. And everybody in the world would tell them that you two, this is going to be a miserable choice for you. You got nothing but kids who have nothing going for them. So being found like that was a rescue mission in itself. And then, in middle school, Dave Ritchie, football coach at University of Cincinnati at the time, comes in and he takes us out there in that little island off the coast of Massachusetts, that basketball league, and he starts to coach us up, and he becomes like a surrogate dad to us, and establishing a relationship in middle school, little unbeknownst to me that he would be my coach in college one day. And then he ends up at this Ivy League school called Brown University, which I'm not, I don't know about that. I've already committed to Rutgers. I'm on full scholarship, ready to go there. But instead now my life gets intercepted with these kinds of things. And it leads me to another. So all that is lost and found, lost and found, lost and found, lost and found. It's fun to be found. It's a blessing. And then finally, even the Lord Jesus Christ, him entering my life before my senior year at Brown University ended, realizing, man, now I can do some bloody living. Now I can really, now the most important burden is off my back. So all of that above, DP, I think really, for me, it's the lost and found story. And so now I've given my life in the coaching profession to finding lost kids and helping them to be found by right things. I get to pass that back on in this career.
How difficult is it to be a great coach without that foundation, without having the mission attached to the work?
Again, I think it's a great biblical story. You build a great house that won't blow over because it has a great foundation. I don't know how you can be truly great at anything that you do without digging down before something comes up. And I've always remembered after 9/11 and just being reminded that it took a long time for the next tower to come up after that thing had gone down. Why? Because they had to go down a long way before they brought that gigantic building back up. So the greater you want to be, the deeper you have to dig. And so the resistance and the friction has to turn into traction, but it has to start with friction. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to be in suffering. And bottom line is, you've got to be a tough person. DP, that's the one thing. If we're not teaching young men, young women in the sports world how to be internally and externally tough, I think we're doing them a disservice.
Well, it is often the conversation in your head, in their heads, that either determines success or failure. But I also want to lean heavily on the foundation, because that has to be a part of the foundation.
No doubt.
That you can have friction, and friction without a belief system, without support, without direction, without a reason, is just friction. It's meant to take you under.
Yes. Good point. Really good point. And a lot of people quit before they quit. Right there. They quit in the digging and the grinding and the training because they don't have that sense of vision for something later that comes from a coach who not only has to dig with that young person, but has to keep reminding them what this thing's going to look like at the end.
Yeah. Vision. Vision is vision. We used to talk about the pillars of success, and depending on the program and the space, again, we would always say coaching and leadership, family, whether that be home, community, or otherwise, the individual and how they make it work, and then the work, and the work has to be identified. Often in college sports, we think of it as just being talent. And I think part of my real problem with the star system, there are people who spend way too much time talking about star systems, the ranking of stars, the amount of stars, and not once have you told me in this star system, 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, no star, character, heart, mission, purpose. If those aren't a part of the system, talent doesn't matter.
That's right.
Like, am I wrong in that?
No, first of all, talent, just pure talent, doesn't come from you or me or anybody else. It doesn't come from, we're not humans where we start breeding people. You know what I mean? I mean, we're not horse breeding here. I mean, people fall in love and they have children and they come out and it's designed by God. We have really no say in that. But what we do have say in after that point is the steering of that talent with the ingredients that we are called to administer, empowered by God. And that is, as you've mentioned, those internal qualities of character. And that is what either uses all the potential of that talent or it holds it back. And so we have an amazing assignment as parents, as coaches, as overseers, as leaders, with people that are, quote, under us. What we should be doing is getting under them and lifting them to the level of talent that God has given them.
It is the familiar thing that gets lost the most, is that if I'm given voice and amplify it, I better have some nutritional value added to it. It can't just be popcorn. As a coach, you've got to know what you're talking about and why you're talking about it.
And I struggle with the star system too. I battle with it. I told some media people a number of years ago, somebody, this was many years ago, recruited somebody from some warm weather environment. And so they were raving about the recruiter and this guy's coming, he's the 5-star and he's this, that, and the other. And the guy went home in October when the weather started to dip. And you say to yourself, well, I mean, we gave an award out for the top recruiting and blah, blah, blah. And do you have to give the reward back after that?
You should. You should. Like, it's a real thing. Like, we asked the question about it that if you identified whatever sport there is, championship level, if you identified that so little has to do with height, weight, 40 time, it is in full. Tell me how, and this came up in a conversation show that I was on, and Coach, we'll go to break after I say this, but and reset it. That it, as a coach recruiter at a high level, you better find out as quickly as possible how much somebody loves doing the work that's going to be toughest for them. How hard are they going to work? How much love can they get from doing the thing that is the most difficult for them to succeed?
I like that. I like what you just said because you're associating love and toughness, and the two should go hand in hand.
People want to run from it. They say it should be easy. No, it should not. The legend Coach Ron Brown. Kip says this. We'll read this text from the Starter Hammond text line. It says, Coach Brown is such an inspiration on and off the field. Thank you, Coach, for what you do. Bandit was the first person who came up with the answer that the trivia question, Joe Paterno. That was the actual answer. Yeah. Bandit, let us know if you want to go a Salt Dogs game either tonight or this weekend since they're home. The legend Ron Brown, DP, Austin Orman here, one-on-one on the ticket.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We are going to be dealing with the heat here over the next several days. Looks like we'll see plenty of sunshine for our Friday, all the way up to 94 for a high temperature with a light southeast wind. Tonight, only dropping down to 71 for a low. Sunny and 96 tomorrow before a chance of thunderstorms on Sunday and a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators. Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Hi, I'm Asher on summer break and about to start 2nd grade. Thanks to awesome people like you who picked Allo Fiber. They donated $193,000 to schools like mine. This summer, I'm using my fast internet to keep learning, and I can't wait to tell my teacher everything I discovered. So if you're a grown-up picking internet, choose Allo, because Allo chooses us, our schools, our town, and our future. Go to allofiber.com to learn more.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You're listening to One on One with DP, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, that's what the song says. I don't know what you heard about me. I don't know what you heard about me. He is the legend, Coach Ron Brown. We're talking about the lessons and life of an Ivy League young man who came. Your journey to the Ivy League wasn't typical. It wasn't the story that your teammates shared. They came from a different place. They had different steps. Their steps were different, and they were ordered different.
Mm-hmm.
What was happening think about it, that the Ivy League, we think about the athletic side, but success in the Ivy League world is based on academic success.
Mm.
The athletic success is just a byproduct of the characteristics, traits, the intrinsic value that you have to get through friction on the field and in the classroom.
Mm.
Tell me about the value system of that for you academically, what it says about you to qualify and succeed.
Well, for some reason, I was always a good student, DP, through grade school and so forth. But my mother and father had to fight for me. They adopted me. They came from poor backgrounds. My mother never finished sixth grade. My dad never finished high school. I couldn't take my homework home and say, hey, let's talk about algebra. Let's talk about, the history of this. It was a foreign world for them.
Yeah.
My mother was just learning how to read while I was going through middle school. So what could I do? But here's what they presented. They were wise and they were firm and they were strong. And those teachers at my school were trying to say, well, we don't know if Ronnie's a good student, he's a young black child, and those kids, they struggle. My father went up to that school and said, this boy's smart. You better test him the right way. And you know what? After all that got said and done, they realized, no, this guy's a good student. So I was a top 10% of my class coming out of high school. My scores were okay, but I had done a lot of unique things. I'd gone to Europe when I was in high school, and I could articulate myself, and I was a good athlete. So when I got accepted into the Ivy League, it was like a long shot, but I did. But then I realized, that's the first part of it. But then there's the next part. I'm sitting in a classroom with a bunch of nerdy geniuses who are a lot of them were valedictorians at their school and so forth. And you're really basically doing the same work as you are the average state school, but you do it in a much quicker pace. And the class the class curve it's much higher, So it was a battle, but one thing that my parents instilled in me, we talked about it before we went on break, is the foundation of work. I couldn't come home with anything less than an A. And some people think, wow, it's putting too much pressure on the kids. But my dad was like, no, if you work hard with the brains you got, you will get an A. If you're bringing home B's and C's and I'm seeing that you're not getting your homework done before you go out and play, and we allow this and we allow you to watch TV all night, that's on us and it's on you. So this is how we're going to do it. You're going to be a student. You're going to do it the right way. I'm so thankful for a dad like that, and not putting up with the nonsense of accepting, taking the 10-foot rim and dropping it down to 8 feet to make it easy.
This is why we have. Coach Brown and I talk privately about having more of these conversations, because sports is just the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a vehicle. It's a way for people to get in front of the mirror. It's something that facilitates direction and path. But I'll ask this because I think it's important. That when you say that you had success, you're the top 10% of your class. Scores were what they were based on the standard. But for you, when did you know that, or what did it take for you to know that I belong here?
It took me a couple of years in college to kind of figure that out. Because here's the first thing you want to do when you get to a college, or if you go to the NFL or wherever it is that you go. It could be a business thing or whatever. You start looking around and comparing yourself all the time. And you're saying like, wow, that guy's from this place. And you start looking back at historical things, star ratings for students, not just athletes. That's a 5-star guy. That guy grew up in Long Island, and whether he went to a really good school when he was the #1 kid in his class, how am I going to compete with that? It's all that. Comparison is man's worst enemy sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's the maximization of what you've been given, putting your nose down and rolling, and fighting with you and I talked about toughness. And I just wasn't tough enough early on to see through all that. I listened. I had people say, there were even some of my fellow students were saying, you're just a jock. The only reason you're here at Brown, because you're a good football player, and they need to have a really good player. So they kind of lowered the bar for you to get in. And I started to believe that stuff. You know that?
Oh, Coach,
just being honest.
We've heard that. Oh, bro, you don't understand. So you're old enough to remember being around during the busing era, and I was a part of the Alpha program in Virginia, in DC, and choosing kids who were tested in 3rd grade to see who was going to be integrated.
Right.
Most people from a sports idea will think back, remember the Titans. Well, that was my hometown.
That's right.
That was my hometown. Those were my relatives. Those were my people. Those were my battles. And a lot of what you just said was, if Derek is testing at a high level, there's something wrong with the test. Let's retest him.
Yeah.
Let's retest him. Let's see. Wait a minute. He was probably brought here to make the football team and baseball team better. No. I was brought here to make y'all better. And I'm old enough to know it, and then I have to fight through. And we go through. That's why I identify so much with what you're saying, because the moment somebody tells you that why you're here, when they tell you why you're here, instead of asking you why you're here.
Yeah. And that's where adults have to be adults. And I'm so thankful for Mom and Dad. Both my parents were there. They were both, in their own ways, very strong. And they were both willing to, with courtesy and respect, confront even the leaders of the high school that I was at or the middle school that I was at, to let them know, listen, give us a right reason why you have our daughter here or our son here. And they were about taking care of business. Now, there is a point where parents can get too nosy and and they become too much of a cheerleader for their son or daughter. But I think my mom and dad did it a right way. And it gave me the confidence that I knew that I can think straight. I can present myself to people. But when I went to college, I lost a little bit of that at first, DP. I was embarrassed. I just felt like, and even a lot of students, particularly the African-American students, they felt like, he's just a jock. He's a really good player. And so that's why he's here. I started to buy into that. But near the end of my career at Brown University, I started to realize that it's all going to come out in the wash. And I was a 3.0 student at this Ivy League school. I wasn't a top student, but I got into graduate school. I went to Columbia University, eventually got my master's degree in public health. And so things started to happen, and I started to realize, that I may not have had the same intellectual training that a lot of those kids had, but there were ways, because of the foundation that was built in my home with work ethic and looking forward and not looking out the rear view window all the time. I eventually got back to some of those things that I've been brought up with. And because of that, I think that's what accelerated me through. That's how I got my diploma and got into, in a master's program. And so the way I was brought up was really important at the end of the day.
I thought this. We're talking to Coach Ron Brown, and Coach, when I was in Virginia, coming up, the whole star system was really starting to gain legs, and people were using it as a recruiting gauge. I thought it was mental laziness. That's what that's where I landed. Well, that's a mentally lazy way to pocket people, to be able to talk about them. Hey, we'll talk about the 5 stars more than we do the 4 stars, more than the 3 stars, 2 stars. And I asked the question to the Washington Post: what if we use the STAR system academically or personally. Because if I'm talking to a young person or I'm talking to a parent or an educator and I say, is this a 5-star human being? Is this a 5-star student? Because there's way more value for the 5-star student than there is the 5-star athlete. We know that, but we don't say it. And so I'll ask you that. What is in the recruiting process? I think if they took the STAR system, yes, identify the athletic skill or accomplishment, but also then ask the next question, because if you're a 5-star student and a 0-star human being, it's not going to work.
That's right.
How do we connect them?
Well, I'm going to give you an example, and maybe this will answer the question. About maybe my 3rd year coaching here, I was the baby on the staff. Frank Solich, who was our running back coach at the time, Coach Osborne was the head coach, but Frank and I started to notice a kid down in South Carolina named Tyrone Leggett out of Columbia, South Carolina. And we noticed his 100-meter times and so forth. We said, gee, this guy's one of the fastest kids in South Carolina. The boy can run. And so, but we noticed that South Carolina had not offered him a scholarship, or neither had Clemson. And so we say, that's interesting. Danny Ford at Clemson won't offer Tyrone Leggett. Joe Morrison at South Carolina won't offer Tyrone Leggett. So Frank and I decided, you know what, man, we should keep recruiting this guy because he looks good on film. So we talked to Coach Osborne about staying on it and maybe signing the kid. It was just Furman and us. That's all. That was the only people that was recruiting him. So Coach Osborne said, well, geez, I don't know, guys. He said, their home states are not even recruiting him. That seems strange. So I went down to South Carolina. I went over to see Joe Morrison, the head coach at South Carolina, and said, why aren't you recruiting Tyrone Leggett? And he said, well, he's kind of skinny. He's got good times, but we just don't know. I went over to Danny Ford. He said the same thing. I came back and I told Frank Solich, I said, they don't like him. So Frank and I said, we love him. So we this is what we did. Frank and I, instead of going off of a highlight tape or where the star rank rating was on this kid, which was like a 2 or something like that, we watched every single game his senior year, every single play of every single game. We did the hard work of rating every single play, and we looked at it. We came back to Coach Osborne, and we said, Coach Osborne, we should recruit this guy. Coach Osborne finally said, all right, guys, I'm going to trust you with this. We signed him on that day. That kid came in here, played as a true freshman as a corner, okay? Went on to be a 3rd-round draft pick in the National Football League, had a great career here, 3rd-round draft pick in the National Football League, played for a number of years in the NFL. And I just looked back at that, DP, and I said, you know what? All that star rating stuff is out the door. His home states, those guys wouldn't recruit him. But you know what? How did we know? You know why? We did the work. We went to the nuts and bolts, and we watched every single play. We found out everything we could possibly find out about Tyrone Leggett. What a great decision. Man, I'm excited. I wanted to be a pro. That's the kind of program I think that's where teams maximize their potential, when you're willing to do that kind of hard work.
It really is a home run to say the work. And knowing what those things that you're looking for are. And it's always interesting that no matter what level, no matter what the room looks like, whatever the coaching room looks like, when those groups get on the same page for what those traits are, the room gets better. But you have to know what those traits are. You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and you've got to be, and I love the term, what's below sea level, SEE level. Man looks on the outward appearance, the Bible says, but God looks on the heart. And it's very important to get inside, somehow to have X-ray vision, to be able to see, to bring out those traits, to watch for those traits. When you're studying that high school film and you're watching all 11 of their high school games and you're looking at every play, you're not just looking at the highlight tape where he runs for a touchdown or all the bad plays. You're looking at the good, the bad, the ugly. What's he do when the ball's going to the other way? Is he hustling all the time? Tyrone Leggett passed all those things. And yeah, he might have been a little skinny, but guess what? Came up here in our weight room program that we had, and he became a great-looking kid with great speed and great talent.
It is the process. And we keep asking these questions to get to the place where we remind people what works, why it works, and how it works. And that's a big part of it. Coach Ron Brown joining us here on 101. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll finish up this hour of 101 and hand it over to the captain show. You got the captain, the Hall of Famer, and the legend, Bach. We got to give Bach credit for holding it down, because somebody's got to run that beer option. You got to keep him out of trouble. DP, Ryan Brown, Austin Orman, one-on-one.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria, tacos, and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment, one-on-one from the text line from Bill and Ben. He says, please have Coach Ron Brown on more. I'm a future DP. His stories are radio gold. Bill and Bennett, I agree. What say you, Coach Ron Brown?
Let another man praise thee, not thine own lips.
What say thee? No. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. I'm thankful. You reached out this morning, and I was like, you know what? Come, let's talk. Let's talk. And I always feel better after talking to you because it gives me hope that people are in this thing working from good rather than the other. It's not money motivated. It's not ego motivated. You're out here helping people, and that is so necessary and under discussed. So thank you for who you are and what you do.
Well, I thank the Lord. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to talk with you about some of these things.
Well, there's so much depth, and I failed in prefacing our hour together that there's zero chance that Ron Brown that we could ever sit in the same room behind microphones and talk about everything I want to talk about in that hour. It just doesn't happen. Like we never get to everything,
right.
And that's on purpose. But it leads us to having other conversations along the way. I'll ask you this because I think it's important. If I asked you to come up with 5 stars, five individual stars that lead to good people that will most likely have success at Nebraska for football, what are the traits of a 5-star Husker?
Well, I think I'm going to go the intangible route. I think the talent is obviously you really do have to get in the ballpark as best you can in talent. You can't just say talent doesn't count for anything because it does. But there has to be, so there's a bottom line level of some level of talent. It doesn't have to necessarily be the most talent, but I think the intangibles that are really important. I think a kid has to be, he has to understand preparation. He's got to know that greatness is made in empty stadiums. He may not articulate it that way, but a guy who's afraid to go out by himself in a hot field and change directions and work on backpedaling and twist and turn and catch, 500 balls that day the proper way, that guy somewhere along the line may fail you. The second thing we talked about is already is foundation. Does he have a sense of right from wrong? Does he have a sense from, I've got to finish what I start? Some things that we sometimes take for granted, it's not all there in every kid nowadays. And a lot of it comes from, sometimes kids don't have the full support of all their parents because there's so many broken homes and tough situations. But I think I would never penalize a kid from coming from a broken home, but I would want to see some level of foundation. A third factor that's important is can he deflect glory and take that energy and surround it with his teammates? Can he be a unified guy? Is winning the Heisman Trophy more important to him than the team's success? And I think that's statistics and all those kinds of things. So I think you got to measure that. And is he opportunistic? Does he? Some guys have an opportunity right in front of them and they don't hit it. It's like a running back who's looking. He can't find a hole, but it's right there. It might be a slither, but you have to train your eyes for opportunity. And then I would close it up, I guess, by saying that you've got to be. I think to the best of your ability, you got to know that I didn't do this by myself. Whatever all the skills and stuff that I have in this wasn't done on a desert island just by me. I had help. I had people pouring in. So I can continually need help. If I go to the next level, I need more help. If I go to the next level, I need more help. That's a wise man to me.
Coach Brown, I think you just redefined recruiting for a lot of folks. And a North Star for parents out there who want to know how your young people can be successful, no matter the talent level. Are they willing to do those 5 things and be those 5 things? They are always appealing. They will always have an opportunity, and they have a path to success.
My heart is that they would start in middle school. Statistics show that worldview for a person starts now at a very young age. It starts before they're 12 years old, probably 8, 9, 10 years old. They begin to understand some of these principles that we talked about. And because of the accelerated world that we live in with phones and all kinds of things, the kids need to get these intangibles earlier and earlier.
Well, Coach, it's good to know that you're here planting seeds.
I thank the Lord for it, and I thank I'm just thankful for folks who have given me an opportunity.
Coach Brown, another exceptional hour. We will do it again.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
DP.
That is the legend Ron Brown. Austin Norman, thank you, kind sir, for what you do and how you do it. And for all of you listeners out there, appreciate you hanging out with us for the course of this. It is a spectacular day. Have a fantastic Friday, a safe and healthy, productive weekend. Captain Show coming up next here on The Ticket.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on The Ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CP